Hi, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching my videos. If you like them, hope you subscribe to them. If you hate them, don't tell anybody. Just move on, find something new. Okay, this is actually a request to this video. I had one of those before. This is a long time ago. I'm going to do a video and it's about Jehovah's Witness superstitions. Now, we weren't superstitious people. Sure we weren't. In fact, we mocked people who had superstitions. We said, oh, those silly people who believe in the astrology and those silly people who keep lucky rabbits' feet. They are fools, we said, right? But were we any better? I don't think so. I've been gleaning the internet again, finding stuff which I think is fun, and I'm going to tell you all about Jehovah's Witness superstitions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go. When I was a child living in rural Ohio, I was sent out in the field service with my older siblings while Dad worked and Mom stayed home with this year's baby. Sounds like a crop, doesn't it? I usually ended up in a car group with several sisters and one elderly anointed brother, all of whom loved to build one another's faith by vying to tell the scariest true stories of demonic possession. Nothing like a rousing retelling of some hair-raising encounter with pure evil, thwarted by brandishing the name of Jehovah. Jehovah's kind of like a combination sword and shield, really. It's a very, very handy name to have, you know. It doesn't work with traffic wardens, though, so don't even try. There are some of my favourite stories here that I heard growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, and I offer them to you now. Used merchandise can be very dangerous, according to Jehovah's Witness folklore. You may get a real bargain, but it might have a demon in it. Demons can go anywhere they want in the world, right? They used to have arguments in the old days about how many angels could fit in the head of a pin, but apparently demons are unable to get out of an old IKEA sofa that you bought in the second-hand shop. One sister came to my house and asked where I got my bed and several other pieces of furniture. As a young mother, single mother, my house was pretty bare and I was sleeping on a pallet on the floor, and being there, I told them that I had been to thrift stores in Phoenix and found bargains galore. She told me that about how she became physically ill to the brink of death. I want to see if anyone tells me they were at the brink of death. I want to see the medical notes, right? Because I smell bullshit. Okay. How she was removed as a pioneer and finally choked in her bed by demons that came into her home in a sofa and chair she bought used. She said that all her problems ended the minute she'd had them hauled off, and that she was soon pioneering again. And then that's when all her problems started again. She insisted I throw away every used item in my house. I declined and she never spoke to me again, because that's love, isn't it? A young brother bought a used Polaroid. This is going to be the biggest bullshit story. A brother brought a used Polaroid camera at a pawn shop. He had a friend take a photo of him, his pretty wife and their baby in arms. I always think baby in arms sounds like a soldier, doesn't it? Sounds like he's going off the battlefield. When the picture developed, both the man and his wife were dressed in 19th century garb. Oh no. And there was no baby! Duh! Don't be scared, everybody. When they destroyed the camera, it screamed. The sister bought dozens of canning jars at a garage sale, many of them full. She stored them in the cellar, meaning to empty and scrub them the next season. Very thrifty young woman. Soon the family heard people running up and down the stairs and the sound of loud vomiting. All the disturbance stopped when the jars were destroyed. Do you think it was because her children were eating what was in the preserves and got sick? Just saying. Okay? Dear me. A brother heard a loud noise in his yard, and when he went out to investigate, a bright light filled the sky over his barn, and a loud voice laughed horribly. Turns out his wife had bought a dozen folding chairs for the Tuesday book study at an auction. Upon checking, they learned to their horror that the chairs had once been used in a spiritualist seance room. Ah! When they burnt the chairs, they had to chop them up small and use gallons of gasoline to keep them burning. That's what happens when you burn metal chairs, guys. Two motherless boys were visiting a young Jehovah's Witness farming family for a week. Their belongings were packed in the family's only suitcase, an old hard-sided case. I like them. They'd been given them by a landlady. They returned home with their clothes in paper bags. The young Jehovah's Witness mother insisted that she had heard someone running up the stairs, and when no one was there, she heard male laughter and stomping. She immediately suspected the suitcase and hauled it out to the trash barrel. She too had to chop it up and use a whole can of charcoal starter to make it burn. It too screamed as it burnt. Isn't it amazing how inflammable or how flame resistant demonic possession furniture is? It's amazing. They should actually market that. They should say, these new school uniforms, they're demonically possessed. There's no way your child can catch fire. That'd be a very good selling point. Okay. A sister phoned me and said she needed help. She'd been having so many problems that an elder told her that she probably had demonic influences keeping her from joyful service to Jehovah. That's convenient, isn't it? So you're all miserable and it's Satan's fault. She was getting rid of everything from her marriage to her bad worldly ex-husband, and she would need dishes, linens and clothes. I immediately went through my own meagre possessions and took her as many things as I could find and shared my clothing quite generously. What a lovely thing to do. A week later, she'd taken all her old stuff, put it back in the house because the other elders had said she shouldn't be too hasty. And besides, my things were as bad as hers. And she never gave back anything either. What a bitch. Dear me. Angels, devils in disguise. Okay? You're the devil in disguise. I've been waiting to do this song for ages. Oh, yes, you are. Jehovah's chosen people don't have miracles or gifts of the Spirit to identify them, but they do have an active mythology of angelic intervention on their behalf. My favourite tale is the story about the pioneer working alone. I've even heard this one. You've all heard this one. In urban territory, he was approached by several police officers while finishing a block of houses. Lady, did you just go to that house in the cul-de-sac? They said. Of course, she replied. I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we call everywhere. Did you talk to a man there? Yes, she said. It's a miracle you're still alive. He is insane! Insane in the membrane! And just killed his wife and the Avon lady. We are here to take him out of there. When the policeman carted him off, they asked him why he had left the lone sister unmolested. She had a great big fella with her. I wasn't going to tangle with no big guy. I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. Apparently, she had an angel standing behind her protecting her. Or maybe he's just mad. Or maybe he didn't exist at all. It's possible, isn't it? Let's say that's likely. That this is just an urban legend. Angels always seem to be big, powerful guys, but demons have infinite disguises. A sister whose worldly husband had just died returned from his funeral to find his pipe filled and burning in the ashtray. The phone rang and it was him. Professing his eternal love, she screamed out Jehovah's name and the pipe broke into pieces. If this was a true story, right, this is actually a story of unrequited love that just went down through death. The husband actually wanted to stop death and tell his wife how much he loved her, and she screamed Jehovah's name and stopped having any conversation with him. Of course it's not true, it's nonsense. Of course, Jehovah will not be mocked. A beautiful but haughty woman hated Jehovah's Witnesses and determined to humiliate them by entering a beauty pageant as Miss Jehovah. She put on the name sash and stepped onto the runway, and as soon as she stepped before the audience, she was struck dead. My goodness. I remember a kingdom ministry that offered an outline on how to approach inactive witnesses. By inactive, they mean one who no longer reports their time spent in preaching their doctrines. It told the good witnesses to remind the dropout that the world is a demon-filled void. They are convinced that demons are everywhere, seeking to enter their homes and minds, and they use Jehovah's name like superstitious peasants use garlic and banes against werewolves and vampires. Oh, one of the very last times I went out preaching as a Jehovah's Witness, I was buttonholed by two pioneers who spent over an hour talking about the subject, repeating several of these hoary demon tales and slandering fellow witnesses who shopped at garage sales, out of economic necessity, of course, not spite. That's us. We're exactly the same boat. And predicting that demon troubles would be coming for them. I kept quiet for a long time, but at last my composure broke. I asked them why they were so afraid of demons if they claimed the protection of Almighty God himself. I said that I was certain God could protect me from anything as petty as puking noises and the sound of running or laughter, and that I refused to believe that he would allow demons to harass or torment his people just because they could not afford to always buy new things. I said that I felt that people who claim to be under God's wing shouldn't constantly chatter about demon mischief, as it was demeaning to their protector to display such superstitious fear. I was quite unpopular for the rest of my time in that congregation, and I left the religion soon after, prompted by my dislike of this superstitious fear and as much as any other factor. That is actually a brilliant point, and it just shows the incredible weakness of Jehovah's Witnesses, that not only do they have to manufacture apostate fears, not only do they have to manufacture medical fears or education fears, but there's this constant other world that's apparently constantly trying to get them, and I'm as guilty as you are. I did this nonsense too. And I remember, all these whispering campaigns about the terrible demonic possessions that people were suffering. Biggest load of nonsense in the world. Um, I made a video earlier where I was apologising. I want to make it in this video too, so it gets to as many people as possible. I put ads on my videos, and I do it quite frankly, and the reason is because I'm absolutely skint. If it buys me and the kids a Chinese meal once a year, I'll consider it a good deal, because that's all it's going to do, to be quite frankly. Uh, However, one of the ads was for Scientologists, and two people contacted me, and they weren't wild happy about that. I wouldn't be either, and so I apologise, and I'll try to get it right. Thanks very much for watching my videos. If you've got the 10 minutes and 30 seconds, then you must really like it. Please subscribe. It's awesome when you do, and I love it. I'm up to 421 subscribers now. I'm getting into the big leagues. I really do appreciate everything and all the support you guys give me. So thanks very much, and have a good day.